welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm doing a question and answer for you. I've not done one for a long time. I think I've only done one potentially when I first started my YouTube channel. So I thought it was about time I did a second one, and also baby is very nearly here. So I thought I could get some questions from you before I go into labour. Yeah, so I have got them all here on my phone. I'm just gonna scroll through and just pick some at random. There was a lot of people asking about baby names. Obviously we're not telling anyone, but we do have a first name and a middle name for both sexes ready. I'd love to see your nursery. I'm going to do a nursery tour. We still haven't painted it. Like, it's an ongoing job that we keep going, yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, and then don't. So work in progress. We've got loads of things for it. I feel like once it's painted we'll be on fire and it'll just be completely decorated and ready to go in about half an hour, but it's just the painting bit we need to do, then we can get pictures up and stuff. Anyway, right, now this is a good question because I haven't touched on this and neither has Danny, and it's quite sad, but it was the right thing to do. So Ficodiro, I think that's how you say it, asked, where are the dogs? What's happened to them? So when we moved house, obviously we couldn't move house with the dogs, who, may I just add, we love very much, Bruce and Ralphie. So they went to stay with my mum and dad. They went on holiday. And then we got the house renovated, so they still stayed with my mum and dad. They were with them for months, like months and months. Thanks, mum and dad. And then we got pregnant. And we always said that it would be impossible to look after two dogs and a baby at the same time. But my family, my dad's cousin Sally and her husband and their kids, took them under their wing and they have adopted them. So we can see them whenever we want, and we do miss them, but we just know it was the right decision to make. So that's where the pups are. This is a really good question, not pregnancy related. Emma Brewer 97 asked me, if you could give a piece of advice to your 12-year-old self, what would it be? I would probably tell my 12-year-old self not to compare myself to other people, not to worry as much about what I look like. Yeah, probably just to enjoy being a 12-year-old and not worry as much about things and be confident with who you are. What have I used to protect my mattress? I saw it on your Insta stories, asks Becky here. Okay, so this is what I used on the bed. They are Boots own maternity mats. Absorbent mats for use during late pregnancy and after birth. Protects your mattress when your waters break. Brilliant. So yeah, that's what that is. Super glamorous. Just in case my waters break whilst I'm asleep, I wanted to make sure that our mattress wouldn't get ruined. And I had been advised to do that. So yeah, very unglamorous, extremely unsexy, but needs must. And I would much rather buy a cheap pack of maternity mats than a new mattress. I will put in the description box how much they are, but they're not expensive. They're pretty cheap and you get 5 mats. Okay, so Shan Kitchen asks, how do you think Danny will be while you're in labour? I think he's going to be amazing. He is quite good in a crisis. Not that it's a crisis, but if I'm upset or I've hurt myself or I don't feel very well, he is very caring. singing his praises now. He's not in, so otherwise no doubt he'd be peeking his head around that corner with a smug little look on his face. But yeah, I think he will struggle seeing me in pain. He has said that to me, that that's going to be the hardest thing. I've warned him that this is going to be the worst he will ever see me, I imagine, because I'm going to probably not be a very nice person, not have much of a sense of humour, look a mess, there's got to be all sorts of bodily fluids coming out of me, and yeah, he's going to see me push a child out of my vagina. So I've just warned him about this, and he said he's prepared and that he will still love me, so phew. Okay, so Love and Light XO asks two things here. She says, I think it's a girl, what do you think you're having, and did you have any signs or symptoms before you found out that you were pregnant? So what do we think we're having? There's been a lot of speculation online, on Instagram in particular, whenever I post a picture, and it's usually of something grey or white, everyone says boy, and it's driving me mad, because I don't know what we're having. Me and Danny both love surprises and don't feel like there is any need to know what we're having. I want the moment that I push that child out, that to be the moment that we find out what we're having. And we've requested on the birthing plan thing that Danny tells me, because a lot of people have said that's really special when the husband or partner tell you what it is. Not that Danny will probably be able to get it out, because I imagine he will be crying quite a bit. So I knew something wasn't quite right. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant, because it's like, the only way I can describe it was like all the period symptoms that I would usually get, but times by 100. So my boobs went massive for me. I mean, I'm not blessed in the boob department, but for me, I was like Pamela Anderson. And I felt really bloated, but like really bloated, a lot more than normal. I was absolutely knackered, exhausted, which I usually feel when I'm on my period, but not kind of that much. It was like unbearable. I had to just sleep. Everything tasted salty. My mum's cooking in particular, because I was at home back in the north when I found out, and my mum is the best cook in the world, and she'd made a chili con carne, which is one of her specialities, and it tasted really salty. And I was sat there with all my family, and I was like, does nobody else think this tastes really salty? But I didn't say anything, because obviously I thought I might be pregnant, because we had been trying, because it wasn't a surprise. Yeah, so that's another thing. So they're probably like the main things that made me think, oh, maybe there's a little baby on the way. So Emmy_W asks, what are you most nervous about? Pushing it out. If I'm being completely honest, I'm very aware it's going to hurt, and I am prepared for that, but I can't say I'm looking forward to that part. I know it will be over. That's the one saving grace, is that there is an end. It comes to an end. But it's just the kind of the fear of the unknown, because I don't know how much it's gonna hurt. I just know it's gonna hurt a lot. And the size of what you have to push out is pretty massive when you actually think about it, which I try not to do too much. I feel like ignorance is bliss a little bit in this situation. I'm also quite nervous about it being here and knowing what to do. I have my mum and my sister and my friends all around me to help me, so I don't need to worry about that, but you kind of want to do a good job. Well, you do want to do a good job. You're raising this child for the rest of its life. So yeah, that makes me a little bit nervous. But I'm equally just excited about that as well. same with Danny really. I think we're both like, gosh, like we're gonna be looking after a human forever. This is massive. It is massive. So always make sure you're sure you want a baby. Don't rush into these things. This is a good question. So Shahina 1970 asks, is it really painful to work out when you're pregnant? How do you manage to do sit-ups? Number one, it's not painful, and number two, you don't do sit-ups when you're pregnant. Just to talk a little bit more about that. So yeah, you have to be really careful with your abdominal muscles when you're pregnant, because basically they're separate and they go to the side of your tummy and there's tissue in the middle rather than abdominal muscles. This is all things that I'm just relaying. I am not a trained professional, so always seek professional help. But which is what I did with Charlie at Bumps and Burpees, who is the most amazing human. She's brilliant and she has kept me on track. So there are certain things you can and can't do. Sit-ups is one thing you can't do. There are a few abdominal exercises you can't do. I've been doing a lot of squatting, a lot of weighted things, a lot of arm exercises. So yes, and no, it doesn't hurt at all. It might feel a little bit different now I'm towards the end of my pregnancy. Everything definitely feels a lot heavier and you sometimes like get a little bit of pressure in your bum. So sitting on a bike is not that comfortable. Just because there's a lot of extra blood pumping down to that area. Sorry to get graphic on you, but I'm sure once I've had this baby, you're gonna be getting some pretty graphic YouTube videos. So yeah, so there are certain things that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you stop. If things feel uncomfortable, stop. Do not continue. So I think I'm gonna wrap my question and answer up there. I shall show you my bump before we leave because this might be the last time you see my bump. So here is Bumpy. I'll get it out for you. Now these trousers were actually baggy on me. Now they're very tight. So I think my bottom has definitely grown during this pregnancy. But yes, so here we are. Here we have it. It's definitely grown in size. I feel like I am ready to pop. Belly button is sticking out, something rotten now. I don't have any stretch marks. Someone actually asked me about stretch marks. I think it's partly to do with your genes. It's hereditary. My mum didn't have any, my sister didn't have any. But also I think it's to do with putting on amazing products as well. I religiously put cream on morning and night. At the moment I'm using Repavar, which is an anti-stretch mark cream. It's good for after as well. It's good for if you lose weight quite quickly. So yeah, like invest in a good cream. You're gonna go through a lot of it, so prepare yourself. But yeah, and baby is laying, feet are here, and then its legs go around, bottom, and then it's back, and then head is low down and engaged and ready. But thanks for watching, guys. The next time you see me, I might have a baby, which is mad. But I do still want to do what's in my hospital bag and also a nursery tour. So you'll probably be getting that, but that could well be when I've had the baby. Just so you know.